Are they BBORP aliens or a larger government psyop? You be the judge. Oh my God, it's an alien mothership. Let me shake the camera as much as I can. As clearly the American people are forced to go through some shenanigans as something weird. Something is afoot here, as there have been some very serious escalations internationally and geopolitically with the ousting of Joe Biden, the old regime, the intelligentsia that I think is trying to strike back one last final time before their time in office is finally extinguished. As we also have some very crazy news coming from Russia, as one of their top generals was just assassinated in a scooter bombing attack. As some people are trying to, of course, pin the two together, saying the people that are assassinating political figures, escalating tensions internationally, could also be the same people that are flying the drones, creating a lot of confusion, panic, and fear domestically here within the United States, as the stories just keep getting stranger and stranger, specifically from New Jersey, where there's a lot of reports of very strange behavior, as the internet is inundated with a lot of very confusing, perplexing videos like this that literally highlight a regular rocket launch that routinely happens in California. As in the making of this videos, there have been UFOs reported in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Virginia, as the state of New York and Connecticut are now installing specific radars in order to monitor drones in their specific areas, as the Pennsylvania governor has just announced that police helicopters will be patrolling the skies, as government agencies that routinely lie to us just came out with a statement, I think, lying to us once again, as the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, the FAA, and the DOD just released a joint statement on the ongoing reports of these drone sightings, saying specifically the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones. Quote, "We have not identified anything anomalous," as the vast majority of people are reporting a lot of anomalous kind of behavior all over the place. And there's a lot of strange stuff afoot here that we have been covering on this YouTube channel. Watch the video that we just did a few days ago on this subject matter. Specifically, when you click on our videos, you click this one right here, secret radiation testing revealed. Don't forget to, of course, subscribe to the channel as well. Click the notification button, as in that specific video, we described in great detail what is now the prevailing kind of theory of what's going on here, as of course the government is releasing numerous very confusing statements and speaking out both sides of their mouth. The White House just officially issued a statement saying that the drone activity is, quote, legal and lawful, as the mayor of New Jersey literally came out and described how there is radioactive material that has gone missing on December 2nd. Now, these drones have been flying around ever since around November 17th, from everything that I've been seeing, specifically on my timeline. As we do have to note here, there is a concerted effort that has been setting down the groundwork for this for the last few days and weeks, as it's almost been a month since I've been hearing about these drones myself, as I've been making the argument that this is something bigger, something's afoot here, something strange is happening here that is going to have severe and vast consequences on our current social and political landscape. There's also, of course, economic ramifications through all of this that probably will be being felt as well. But this is what Mayor Michael Melham had to say about these mysterious drones that I think is absolutely important to pay attention to.
But she says that she has like some kind of contact at the Pentagon, and that it has something to do with radioactive material in New Jersey. What are you hearing?
So here's what I know. I know that we were told by our state police that we have assets over our critical infrastructure. Now, depending on your point of view, that's either concerning or comforting. I think it's comforting because it's probably us listening and watching. We also know that we have drones that are flying in a grid-like pattern. In my opinion, they're looking for something. What might they be looking for? Well, potentially, we're aware of a threat that came in through Port Newark. Maybe that's radioactive material. There was and there is an alert that's out right now that radioactive material in New Jersey has gone missing on December 2nd. It was a shipment. It arrived at its destination. The container was damaged and was empty. So
okay,
potentially
wait,
we're looking
stop
for
right
that.
there, Mayor.
Yep. that's, of course, our original assessment a few days ago that now is confirmed with this new breaking news, as the government now has officially come in and said, yeah, there's radioactive substances missing, and these drones have the capabilities of spotting out those radioactive particles by being able to fly all throughout New Jersey and the local vicinity in these grid-like fashions that, of course, are able to do the job a lot more quickly and efficiently than manned helicopter and flight patterns that, of course, would take up a lot of manpower and resources.
Very important information. And that came from a credible source.
That came from the U.S. government.
And so it's missing?
Missing.
And they think it's in New Jersey, or it could be anywhere?
It was lost in New Jersey, in transit. And again, this is just an example of what I think that we're sniffing for. I think we do have the assets that can go up and fly around and sniff things, which is why we're not seeing the uptick we used to see in Belleville anymore. It's kind of moving, but we're seeing alerts that it's happening now in Pennsylvania.
And that's right about the time that the drone sightings began, right?
Yeah, drone sightings began about 4 weeks ago.
Okay, so when you take a look at this, if this information is indeed credible, why wouldn't the government say, it's us?
That's the crazy part about this. We've gotten very little information. Even yesterday on that call with the White House, literally mayors were told, you guys are seeing things. There's no credibility to this.
As this information is verified by, of course, Donald Trump, who also now is receiving briefings from the federal government, as he has officially come out and said specifically, we know the government knows exactly what's going on, and they should tell the public, especially if there's a threat. As this kind of babying of the general public, lying to them, deceiving them, is creating more of an anxious situation than actually knowing what's going on here, as the general public could probably help deal with the threat assessment that they could be facing themselves. And I think this really does highlight the larger kind of disingenuous, destructive, bad behavior of government that knows that there's probably something very serious that they're hunting for, that they're looking for, but instead of preparing the general public for it, instead of having people actually help out in the larger efforts of trying to find this threat, they treat them like little babies. As if there's a threat against my life and my loved ones, I want to know. And that's why Donald Trump's kind of response to all of this is a lot more of a mature response than Joe Biden, that is literally telling everyone, don't worry, the drones are legal and lawful. We don't care, Sleepy Joe. We want to know what's really going on here, as the American people deserve the truth. And if you agree, share this video, as there's a lot of reports now of some New Jersey residents suffering from, quote, alarming symptoms, as I think this is the perfect time to remind people to take care of your own health, because the government never will. The government actually incentivizes private enterprise to make you fat, sick, and dumb so they could profit off of your misery. We do the opposite here at We Are Change, as of course we have our shop on wearechange.shop that has a lot of really great stocking stuffer gifts for your loved ones, for your friends, especially if you care about their well-being and health. You should go to wearechange.shop. Go do your shopping now. We're shipping orders as soon as we get them, by the way. We do this all internally, in-house. We have some really great, amazing supplements like Essential Fatty, which is good for everyone, especially older people, in order to normalize your omega-6s and omega-3s. As we went out there and got the best fish oil on the market from small sardines, they are tested for heavy metals. And if you're looking to improve your heart and brain function, and if you're not eating a lot of fish in your own diet, you should check out Essential Fatty. Only available on wearechange.shop. Again, perfect gift for a loved one, as well as magnesium glycinate, something that, of course, helps people deal with rest, recovery, proper sleep, and, of course, a healthy nervous system, which a lot of people don't have, especially as they're being inundated with fake news and propaganda from the federal government that is lying to them through their teeth. As it's more important than ever to take your own health in your hands, and having proper sleep, which you get through one of the many benefits of magnesium glycinate, is something that is absolutely worth considering, especially in a day and age where a lot of people are not getting proper sleep, not getting proper recovery. Check out wearechange.shop. And again, you have a choice. You could go on the big box stores and you could buy their crap, or you could buy something that we put our own name on, that we trust, that we back, that we love, that we use, that supports independent media at the same time. And by voting with your dollar, you allow us to, of course, increase and improve all of our efforts trying to help you by you helping yourself and your loved ones through, of course, proper health and nutrition. Take advantage of it right now, as it's fair to say here that the times are only going to get a lot crazier, especially geopolitically and internationally, where the Russian chief of radiation, chemical, and biological protection forces was just assassinated by Ukraine. a man that has previously warned that the United States has prepared drones with thousands of mosquitoes that could spread all types of infectious diseases and could be used as part of a larger biological weapons program. As this man was just officially taken out, Russian Lieutenant General Krylov, life was lost with a Ukrainian bomb that was planted outside of his apartment disguised as a scooter, as his assistant also lost their life in this larger attack, as the situation between Russia and the United States is getting more tense than ever, as the Russians now are warning about deploying short and medium-range missile systems in response to the United States doing the same, as Putin today is accusing the United States of bringing Russia to its, quote, red line. As Vladimir Putin is also claiming that there's over 100,000 U.S. servicemen in Europe right now, as he is saying that the United States is creating and preparing for deployment in forward zones of high-precision strike weapons of land-based origin with a firing range of thousands of miles, as he is arguing that the United States is setting up the blueprint for an invasion of Russia, as he is accusing the United States of violating the 1987 Intermediate Range Nuclear Force Treaty, which the United States pulled out of in 2019 after the United States accused Russia of violating this treaty first. As today's latest events with Ukraine taking credit for the assassination of a major government Russian figure is something that, of course, escalates the situation that much more, which already has been kind of teetering on the edge of a larger global conflict. As the Ukrainians are arguing that this man that was assassinated was a war criminal and a, quote, legitimate target, as he was hit in a civilian area of Moscow, in a highly populated civilian area. As the Ukrainians are now accusing him of allegedly using chemical weapons that have been banned, as the Ukrainians have been using more kind of Mossad CIA-like assassination techniques against Russian government and political figures, as they were also the ones behind the assassination of Alexander Dugin's daughter that was assassinated in a car bomb by the Ukrainians. As these larger sabotage efforts have put fear into the minds of the Russians that clearly see this as a massive escalation, as a lot of people are saying that this could be partly related to a larger intel agency hit on a Russian general that blew the lid off of U.S. biolab networks that specifically have been utilized inside of Ukraine. As the United States government has been doing some really kind of weird kind of scientific experiments inside of Ukraine, a place that is known for its political corruption, as a lot of politicians have been bought off, sold out to the highest bidder, and I think it's fair to say the United States and other Western powers have gone there and exploited this larger scenario for their own personal benefit. Who pays the price for a lot of this kind of extortion, for a lot of these politicians being bought off? Well, the local citizenry of Ukraine, that, of course, pays the price for all of this. As this Russian general also specifically talked about how Hunter Biden was behind some of the biolab networks inside of Ukraine, and even pointed the finger at him directly for releasing the biolab weapon that was released in 2020-2021 that affected the entire world. As a lot of conspiracy-minded people are saying, well, maybe this had to do something with his assassination, as, you know, it was also the CIA connected to Echo Health Alliance and Peter Daszak that helped create this larger bioweapon that was released to the general public and the rest of the world that, of course, created global chaos. Could have this been a larger hit by the same intel agencies trying to cover up their tracks against one of the leading political figures that was speaking out against them? Well, that's the larger possibility here, as the intel agencies have a huge grip of control over Ukraine, and they are puppeteering a lot of their major moves and escalations in this particular region. As there's still this kind of disguise that the Ukrainians are acting on their own, when in reality, they know the hands that feeds them, that supplies them, that of course encourages them, and tells them exactly what to do, as the involvement of the intel agencies here is pretty clear, as a lot of the same kind of techniques, tactics have been utilized in Syria, also another gambit by the intel agencies that have overthrown that government that was also very closely aligned with the Ruskies and the Russians that are now losing major military bases in the Middle East because of this larger kind of coup d'etat that we have seen done and carried out by Wahhabist Islamic factions from all over the world that coordinated a larger attack, as Bashar al-Assad, the leader of Syria, now is in hiding inside of Russia. And again, taking out the guy that was investigating the alleged U.S.-backed biolabs in Ukraine is very suspicious during this very key opportune time when we have the Trump administration saying that they're going to be investigating and looking into all of this, as the Russians have accused the United States of researching methods to spark a pandemic in order to frame Russia, as this is also the same man that, of course, said that the 2020 and 2021 sickness that was going around was specifically a man-made virus created by the United States government. As it's fair to say, the intel agencies are probably up to no good, as a lot of them are going to be fired, investigated, and looked at into. And I think that's why we are seeing them kind of act in a very kind of desperate, dangerous faction like a cornered animal. I think that's the current situation unfolding right now, as a lot of the kind of leftist, liberal, woke mindset now is being transitioned away from the left-right divide towards this kind of top-down divide, as it's fair to say here that the larger kind of political landscape is going to be shifting from left-right and is going to be transforming from a larger kind of race war to a larger class war. And as we are seeing from kind of the leftist mentality here, there are people that are trying to justify the larger assassination of individuals here domestically inside of the United States because they disagree with their business practices. That's the mindset of the left. That's the mindset of essentially, in my opinion, the intelligence agencies that are spurring on this type of thinking, as right now we are dealing with a very tumultuous, crazy time and season where anything and everything could happen. Even on my own social media, I'm getting pushback for posting memes like this that specifically says, yes, you are all wrong, to a bunch of people saying that it's okay to assassinate a father, quote, because he was a CEO. He wasn't. And the response that I'm getting is just absolutely wild. As a lot of people are saying, you're wrong. I don't think I am. There's people literally selling cards of CEOs' faces and putting them on hit lists. As it's fair to say, it is the modus operandi of the intelligence agencies to assassinate and just take out people that don't play ball with them, that don't agree with them. And I think we're seeing that kind of carried out in a lot of other psyops and mind control manipulation efforts and ways, which we should be weary of and call out in real time, as these situations are engulfing us, as we are dealing with very crazy times and situations that could expand and go crazy at any moment, at any time. We're going to come back and expand on this conversation 6 p.m. Eastern later on today for a very special episode here on thebestpoliticalshow.com. As we're going to have some really cool, awesome people in studio today. Join that conversation by signing up to lookunfiltered.com. You get the ability to actually call in and be a part of the show. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys watching, subscribing, and sharing this video. And because you do, this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. Strap in. It's only going to get crazier from here. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.